dreams and achieving more. Telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Well, welcome to the Real Talk with Judy live radio show, the number one talk for empowering, inspiring, motivating, and helping people, especially women and girls, to see that it is possible. Your vision, your dream, your hope, your desires, everything you want to accomplish is possible. You have to see it before you see it, or you never will see it. That's real talk. So we're so glad that you joined us this beautiful Tuesday morning. I don't know where you are, but wherever you're listening for, it is absolutely beautiful here in Tallahassee. This is Tuesday, July 18, 2023. Last Tuesday, this time, we were in Scotland, and it was 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. It was 3:30. It was 3:30. So we're back now in the States, and we're glad to be back. Absolutely had a wonderful time. And to all of those who followed us on Facebook, thank you so very much. We wanted you to be there with us. That's why I look when people take vacation or they're doing things, and sometimes I can't do it. But to be there with them when they're doing all of this stuff and putting on pictures, and can I help you all? Take pictures. Take pictures, videotape, because one day that's going to be the joy for you. One day that will be the joy for you. But I want to thank you for joining me on our station here, Radio Hallelujah 95.3. I'm about to say radio station, but y'all already know we are the station making things happen for all people. And thank you for joining me Facebook Live on YouTube and on the Hallelujah 95.3 app. To all of you outside of Tallahassee, thank you so very much for joining. It is always an honor to have you to return back. I do not count it lightly that you give me an hour of your day every Tuesday to speak life and to empower you and to inspire you. I don't take it lightly, but I ask you to do me a favor. Go ahead and call someone else, text someone, share this text, share this Facebook page on your Facebook. Okay, share it on your Facebook page. I promise you, people will be blessed and honored. So go ahead and do that for me. I want you to contact and invite as many people as you can, because I promise you, you're going to be inspired today by my guest. And some of y'all are looking at her. Yes, she's young, but man, the wisdom that's going to come out of this young lady's mouth and what she has done is going to be very empowering to you. So get everybody on, as many people you can share. And do that while I say hello to my mama. Mother, hello to Mother Dr. Irma Hunter Wesley. That's my mama, y'all. And she's the reason I am who I am. And she is still my trusted advisor and mentor. She is still here in the land of the living. And a few years ago, I think 4 years ago, the doctor only gave her a certain amount of time to live. But how many of y'all know God is in control? So she's still here. And we are excited about her still being here. And I ask y'all if y'all would just keep her in your prayer. God is strengthening her. She's still Mother Irma. She's still carry on. I promise you. Okay, to my awesome and amazing husbands within the Gerald Mandrell, the senior pastor of Life Changers. But y'all, I just thank him so much for his support and his encouragement. He is the reason I get to do what I get to do. And to my amazing production team led by our marketing director, Priscilla John Louis, I want to thank her so very much. She helps me deliver an award-winning show to a great audience every day. She left my boss in charge today, as Kaylin is on a speaking engagement. And so she left my boss, my personal executive assistant, best friend, baby sister, to man the production today. She's a mean one. I'm going to have to send her the T and L so she could get some training. how to be a good boss when you're producing. Yeah, but I thank you, Carolyn, so very much. And again, to you, the greatest audience, thank you for keep coming back. I greatly appreciate you. And you helped me to come in with enthusiasm. So thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about one against all odds. I won against all odds. And as I was reading everything about Paloma, I was reading and I'm like, she's still winning. She's still winning. So she won. And you're gonna hear her story. It is phenomenal. Okay, but she won a lot of things, and she's winning. And so we're gonna talk about what that looked like. But it was 8 years ago. 8 years ago that I met her at a Holiday Inn. And I think both of us speaking?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And she was on it. So 8 years ago.
I was 9.
Okay, 8 years ago, she was 9 years old. And we were on the same platform for speaking. And when I heard this young lady speak, this little girl, I was like, wow. And then afterwards, and she was there with her dad.
Yes.
And afterwards, she said, you're my best friend.
Yes,
Said,
still holds true.
She said, and you're my mentor. And for 8 years, I have watched her soar. I have watched her conquer so many odds. And I'm so excited about her life. Ladies and gentlemen, she was the third guest when I first started, November 2015. She was the third guest on my show. And she rocked it at 9 years old. I bring her back today at, how old are you?
17.
I bring her back today at 17. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you one of the greatest young ladies I know. My special guest today is Paloma
Ramvana.
Ramvana.
Thank
Paloma,
you so much
welcome.
for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. The third time at Charm. I'm really grateful to be here.
Yeah. So, and we're going to talk about one against all odds, winning against all odds. And we're going to talk about no matter what. And I wanted her to come now. So collegiate students are getting ready to go back to college, elementary, middle and high school, getting ready to go back. We have so many of you who have dreams and different things that you think you cannot accomplish. Well, I brought Paloma on to let you know all things are possible. So we're going to get started. And what I would like for you to do, because some people know you and some people don't.
Absolutely.
Would you tell the audience something? Oh, before we do that, y'all see these beautiful flowers? She brought these to me for having me having her on my show. I was like, wow, that is awesome. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely.
So Paloma, just tell the audience something about you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paloma Ramvana. I'm 17 years old, and I'm heading to the new school for college to study communications. But you may recognize me as the author of Paloma's Dream, my book, and the advocate who helped secure $1,250,000 to start funding the Gap in Florida. And I'm so excited to be here.
So we're going to talk about, she has a lot to say, hear me, because you all look at her, she's beautiful, but she got a story behind all of that. So what I want you to do, Paloma, is give them a little history about even the raising of all of the money, and tell them a little bit about what you endured from the beginning.
So I was born with Peters anomaly, which is a condition that happens in 1 in a million births and affects the corneas, which is the clear front part of the eye. And Peters anomaly affects the clear front part of the eye and results in legal blindness, which I've had ever since I was born. And in the state of Florida, we have funding from 0 to 5 and 14 to 22, but no funding from 6 to 13, which is your first year of elementary school to your last year of middle school. So if you're not having private supporters or family support to get you through that time and you're a student with a disability, it's rather difficult to brave the education system without the support that you need. So I lobbied the legislature in 2015, and we were able to secure $1,250,000 to start helping the students in this gap get the tools they need to succeed. And that was able to help them get magnifiers and vision teachers and the equipment in and out of the school system to help their educational journeys thrive and make their dreams reality. And that's where my organization, Palom's Dream, came from. And after a couple years of doing wonderful things within my community, I branched out to the national level and was able to advocate for students and people with disabilities across the nation who were hearing impaired, deaf, blind, and visually impaired. And we were able to make a bigger impact on the nation as well. And so I've been able to be an advocate at the local and national level. And then I went on to write a book about my journey because all of this was happening before I got into middle school.
Yes.
So there was a lot of a story to tell right at the age of 13. So that's when I wrote my first book. And after that, have been working within my community as an artist and curator. And that's where we are today.
That's where we are today. And I hope y'all understood what she said. She was 9 when she lobbied the legislator for
$1.25
million for an age group that was not 0 to 5 was receiving assistance, and 14 to 22, but not the 6 to 13.
Yeah.
And I'm making that point because she was 9 years old. And so she found a gap that needed to be filled, and she went after it. And so, Paloma, would you tell the people, encourage them right now? Because I think that there are some people who have dreams and they see the gap and no one is really doing it. And it just might be a fear. And you have the most remarkable parents.
Absolutely.
I absolutely admire your parents. Attorney Elizabeth Ritchie and Attorney Nia Ramvana, right?
Yes.
And so we're going to come back to that because we're going to talk too about how important it is to have support.
Absolutely.
Good support. But you went at 9 years old before the legislature. Tell me how that felt and what got you going.
I'll start with a Helen Keller quote that says, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much," because that really is at the core of how I got involved. It's because my first vision teacher, Jennifer Crowder, reached out to me via email and said, "Hey, we know that you're involved directly through this gap, and we know that you have a voice that can tell a really powerful story to the legislators involved, and we would like you to get involved with this cause and really be able to share your perspective." So because of her, I was really able to be in the thick of it from an early start and get connected to legislators and be able to share my story on a platform so early. But if you see an issue that you're passionate about and you don't find the community in it, make the community, become the community and find it in yourself. I was giving a presentation yesterday to the Oasis Center for Women and Girls, and I was using the different Barbie siblings to articulate the different skill sets that girls can use to make their dreams a reality. And in that sense, I said, your community is everything. And even if you haven't found them yet, you can go out and create it and then facilitate it in your own way using digital resources or in-person connection to go out and solve the problem through creative thinking.
I love that. I love that. So if you don't see it happening, create the community. Build it. Imagine it. Because I always say, I got it from a bishop who stated, you got to see it before you see it.
Right.
Or you never will see it. So you have to imagine it. Get your vision board going.
Totally.
I believe in that vision board. So you can see where you're going. You can see what's happening and make it happen. Here she is, 9 years old, going before the legislature to ask for $1.25 million for a program that did not exist, but a gap that was there. But she was asking from the experience that she had.
Your perspective is your most powerful asset. I think your story is something that nobody else will understand and nobody can take away from you because it's uniquely yours. And we're all snowflakes in the sense that we are also individual in our ways of looking at the world. So keeping your perspective intact and using that as the forefront of your storytelling in an advocacy setting is super, super important.
Yeah. So write your story. So someone want to hear it. And sometimes someone may say, "Oh, you don't have anything to say." No one want to hear. I promise you. There are people out here who want to hear your story. I promise you. They want to hear what you have to say. They're waiting on you. Would you agree with that, Paloma?
Absolutely. I think that through my connections to other people as an advocate, I've been able to see so many people who've said that they were grateful to see a story like mine because of how underrepresented we are in the disability sphere of just seeing stories that are uplifting and not infantilized. So to be able to tell a story that connects with people, disabled or otherwise, that is empowering and that you can see yourself through, and empathy is really, it's super wonderful to be a part of it and to be able to have people coming up to you and having that community facilitated that way, for sure.
Can you, I know that you've helped a lot of students, especially the ages of 6 to 13, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you stated that some of the equipment you got was the magnifying glasses and
Mobility aids and vision impairment teachers that will help you with all sorts of things.
yeah, I like that. I like that. Now let's get back to your parents.
Yes,
Because one of the things I want everybody to know, you can't do this alone.
absolutely.
And she just quoted the Helen Keller quote. You can't do this by yourself, because there will be moments that you feel so overwhelmed or afraid, perhaps.
Interestingly enough, I was thinking about that, and throughout this whole thing, I've been supported so well and ingratiated into so many communities that fear was never really a part of my story.
I
And
love it.
as much as there have been societal expectations as to what a person with a disability can and cannot do, those are only societal. And, if you're able to take them upon yourselves and realize that it's up to you what you're going to make of your own experience on this earth, then that's all you can do. Because if you stay confined by the idea, like I was told that I wouldn't be able to read, write, or drive, and here I am doing 2 out of the 3 of those things. And since I'm moving to a city where driving isn't necessary, I'm completely content with only doing 2 out of the 3. But it is so important that you find it within yourself to go the distance and do things, because there will always be more people discouraging you than encouraging you if you don't have the right support system.
And so I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, make sure you have the right support system.
Definitely.
You have to make sure, because as much as you have to see it to believe it, your support system has to see it as well.
Definitely.
As well, because if not, they're going to tell you can't do it. They'll say things like, that's going to be hard for you.
And it may be hard, but it's not impossible.
Not impossible. and I like that. I'm loving what you're saying, because that's how you have gotten it through.
Definitely.
Your dad is flying, your dad and mom flying the plane,
Yeah.
riding boats, riding yachts. They drove up here. I think you all were still somewhere, and they drove up here in their yacht. Your mom drove it, but they have instilled into you. And I often say this: your support is so important. And I think that's why I can do what I do.
Definitely.
My mom, my sisters, and we say we each other fan clubs.
Yes, totally.
So we know we have 8.
Right.
So I agree with you. There's nothing that you can accomplish, and your perspective is your perspective. And you don't have to. I like what she said. You don't have to take the societal odds or what they say you can't do. Do it anyway.
Absolutely. I have to branch off to a story of my own. Back in 2019, I was up for the Global Youth Award in education, and I had flown across the country during a bit of a chaotic time in my life, and I was met with one of my biggest fan girls, I would suppose you could say, and one of my good best friends currently, and her name is Natalie Astor Ryan, and she is a yoga teacher and works with Nike and is doing wonderful things now, but I couldn't be where I am without her support and seeing her succeed and encouraging me to do the same. So I have to appreciate all that she's done for me as my personal support system, definitely.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you will recognize this, simply because we can't forget what people do to help us.
Absolutely.
We sometimes we make it or whatever, but we must remember the shoulders of the people that we're standing on,
Totally.
the doors that people open for us. We have to be able to say thank you. So when I say winning against all odds or won against all odds, what does that look like to you?
It's something that I feel I'm a living testament to, given that my condition is so rare and that we've done a lot of amazing things in the scientific community and advocacy community and beyond, there's lots of odds that have been conquered throughout this, and there's lots of things that were deemed impossible or too different and challenging and unapproached that we kind of had to take it upon ourselves to say, well, we're going to be the ones to approach it. So I think winning against all odds to me is finding it within yourself and your community to approach the impossible and do it anyway.
And I know you said that you didn't really have to deal with fear, but did you have time that you felt like giving up perhaps, or challenge or anything like that?
I definitely had challenges along the way. I think it would be funny of me to say that if it weren't true. Like, there's totally been parts of this where I've been questioning how to work through the next stages and figure out all the logistics, but I've never felt like giving up because I feel so in line with what I'm doing.
Yes.
And I've been so surrounded by positive feedback and support ever since the beginning, from those who were with me from the first email that was sent out and to the last legislative meetings. I've had a continuous, overwhelming support, and internally and externally, I felt really in line with what I do, and I've never felt too afraid or too out of my element to feel like I should not be doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I would agree with you. And you're helping me today. You're helping me today. This is good, because there come times, Paloma, where that's where you really have to know that what you're doing is in line with what you're supposed to be doing. You can feel it. You can see it, and you just know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And when you do that, and you have the great support, who's not going to allow you, they would not allow you to settle for average.
If you know you're extraordinary, you're extraordinary. And I think that's something that people overlook often, because I think sometimes I used to get asked a lot about imposter syndrome, and totally, I think that's a present aspect of our workforce and the day-to-day, especially being a woman working in a field that is dominated by those who are not able to see and empathize with my perspective. It's important to take into account that you are the harbor of your story, and you are nobody else knows it as well as you do. And then you can't let society, as I've said, and you can't let other people who don't understand you and don't want to root for you control you like that. You have to be able to rise above it. And I think imposter syndrome is an aspect of everyone's career, and in some aspects, though not of that specific name. But if you're able to look at it and understand that there's no one that's impersonating you, you have to just be who you are, and to the most authentic version of that self, that is all that you can do.
And if you're extraordinary, you're just extraordinary.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And you don't settle down, you don't step down from that.
Right.
Right?
Extraordinary people aren't calling themselves average.
Exactly. Right. And you just be who you are, because today I want you to see that it is possible. Be who you are. You don't have to back down because someone does not understand the fact that you're extraordinary.
Absolutely. Rise to your level, and then meet others who will be with you there. Because if you continue to lower yourself to other people's levels, you'll be unsatisfied and unfulfilled for much longer than you would be if you were not with that community.
I love it. And build your own community. She said that. Build your own community. She said, rise to the level and you'll find the other extraordinary people there. But if you stay down here, you won't. So you'll only meet with frustration and aggravation. But if you rise to the level where you are, then you're going to meet those extraordinary people who's doing things. And would you agree? They even cause you to rise higher?
Absolutely. I think that it's fundamental to your relationships that there's some aspect of encouraged challenge and encouraged collaboration and creative thinking, because you always can improve and evolve your growth as a person and as an advocate and in whatever field you're in. And so when you have a community and sets of friends who want to see that continue to level up, and it's an endless video game. There's the end level is death. You got to keep going, and if you're going to spend it, you got to continue to level up and power up, and as best as you can with people who want to support you, for sure.
Yeah, kind of like the movie. At the end, you know that there's going to be another show.
Totally.
So it's going to be another show. It's going to be another show. So you're always smiling.
Yes.
I mean, you are always smiling. I have not seen a picture. I have not seen you talking. I have not seen you anywhere, and you're not smiling. You're always smiling. How come?
I'm surrounded by incredible community. Absolutely. I think I've said this again and again, but it rings true 1,000 times more because your community really is everything. And in
Wow.
my low points in my career and otherwise, I've been so fortunate to be supported by those who understand and are willing to grow the understanding and empathize with me to help me understand that this is temporary and we can grow beyond it. Because having that support, because I'm not invincible. I've definitely had my points where, as every young person, teenager, and person working in a field that's demanding will totally understand, it's not all peaches and cream. So to be able to grow from this with people who are encouraging you, even in those low points, and are believing in you when it's hard to believe in yourself, is essential to being able to succeed, whatever you do.
So you talk a lot to your mom and your dad and your sister, because your sister is phenomenal.
My sister is phenomenal. She's currently in Costa Rica, adventuring and helping people, doing wonderful things.
Yes. You girls are awesome. You know, we have some wonderful young people here in Tallahassee. And one of the things that you said when you're having the low point, do you talk often to your parents?
I talk often to my parents and to my community for sure. It ranges from person to person, and for me, I'm lucky to have a large support system.
And I'm going to tell you all, get that. It is very important that you have that support. And she keeps saying community, build it, and don't be afraid to let people go who are not who insist on not seeing you or valuing you where you are.
And that for me was why I decided to go out of state for school too.
Really?
Because the state of Florida has changed so politically and gotten to a place in which I don't feel my perspective is as valued as it used to be, and my values and perspective are being threatened by our current political climate. I found that schools up north, I'm going to New York, are more aligned with me and are more willing to hear what I have to say and appreciate my story and my vision. And so if you're unable to build your community in your current environment, go find it somewhere else.
Oh, sure. I love that. So because of the political, and that's a whole nother show, because this political climate that we're living in right now,
it's hostile.
It really is. It's mean. It is very mean. But the courage you have, and so you also, I want you to, and I know you're going to go back and listen to this, because the points are valuable what she's stating. So if you're in a community, you're in an environment, and it's not producing or enhancing your vision and what you believe in, build another community. To another community.
Definitely.
Build it. There are people who believe in you. There are people who need to hear your story so they can understand that they need to believe in you. There are some people who don't even know they need to believe in you yet because they haven't heard your story. But you cannot hold back. You have to let your perspective out. And you can't be afraid to believe in you. Put a high value on you.
The worst thing you can do is undervalue yourself.
Yes.
As a young person or an old person at any age, you just
wait a
have
minute,
to
she said a young person or an old person.
I think that wherever you are, if you're finding yourself circumstantially or internally undervaluing who you are and what you mean to the world, you need to kind of do what I think a lot of us did during the pandemic, and do that internal reflection and grow within yourself and grow beyond that, because you're always able to grow and evolve in a way that you can come to a place where you appreciate yourself to your fullest, for sure.
And it's okay. It is really okay to appreciate you, to appreciate yourself, to appreciate your value. Your thoughts are important. I was sharing with someone today that when we were growing up, I think one of the things I loved a lot about the way we grew up. My parents and my community, they were just so supportive. That's why I am the way I am today. Yeah. Because my mom and dad and all of them, they taught us that we were worth hearing. We had in us to accomplish whatever we want to. And some people say that, but they don't really mean it, to their children. But one of the things I love about us growing up, we had a voice. Even as children, we were able to voice our opinion. Some people have the testimony that whatever food was placed before them, they had to eat it. We didn't. If we didn't like it, my mom cooked something else.
Right.
They
It's
didn't-
that flexibility that's essential
Yeah.
to growth for sure. If you have a stagnant environment where it's suffocating and your ideology and your way of being is always being told you have to do this, and like I hear that there's a lot of like in the growth mindset of saying you get to do something. When you get to experience the services, you have to do something. Like you totally get to appreciate the world in a more positive light. So your support system might not always be rooted in validation, but that doesn't mean that you are invalid in any way.
Exactly. And you have to believe, I hope you all are hearing this. You have to believe in who you are. And just because someone else don't believe in you, don't you ever stop believing in you. You know, I always say, if they don't invite you to the party or they don't think it's worth playing your record, buy your own record player. Well, we don't have record.
I have one.
Yeah, well, I said, buy your own thing and play your own song. You know, you want to be heard,
Right.
listen, if you want to be heard, get you a speaker and a microphone and turn it up.
Totally.
And turn it up.
And it's easier now than ever to make your voice heard.
Yes.
It's wherever the universe is at your fingertips, really, with the internet and beyond, and just to take full advantage of that and to weigh the pros and cons moderately, of course, with your internet use, and take it to be a positive space where you can grow and empower others and empower yourself is the best that you can do with the tool that you're given.
Exactly. I mean, and we have so many podcasts now. We have, I mean, you look on there, there's podcasts for everything. Everybody is on there. You know what? They should be.
Totally. Everybody has a story. There's
Yes.
not one person alive that doesn't have a story to tell.
Exactly. And you should be on there. You should be telling your story. And this is what I want to say. Prepare.
Absolutely.
Prepare. Don't just get on there talking. But prepare it. Everybody has something. If they don't put you on their Facebook page, create your own.
Totally. It's free and it's easy to do so.
It really is. Create your own. You know, and if you go to my Facebook page, I think I have 4 of them. They're popping.
Yeah.
You know, and different people visit different ones because different people, they just have different tastes.
Totally.
But if you can believe in you, and Paloma, you are an encouragement to me. Every time I look at you, I think I've read your book like 3 times. Simply because it's encouraging, you know. And sometimes, unfortunately, I've had to deal with some things that you have not. But when my dad was alive, I used to call my dad and say, "Man, so and so." So he said, "But Judy, that don't have anything to do with you." I'm like, "But Dad, they coming at me."
Right.
He said, "But that doesn't have anything to do with you." You know, he said, "You are Judy Wesley," and that's my dad. And that doesn't have anything to do with you. They don't like you. You don't care.
Right.
I was like, "I don't know. You do not care."
The most empowering thing you can do is that detachment from other people's opinions of you, because
Yeah.
nobody's opinion is as valid about you as your own.
That's your own. Yeah. And that how hard do you think that is for people to detach really? And you're 7. Let me tell you, you're doing well. You're 17. 17. You still yet have you have, number one, you have done more than a lot of people that's older, that's 60, 50, 40. You have done more. You have traveled all over the world. I mean, you have spoken in some great places. And you're 17 and you still have a lot. How have you learned to detach yourself from other people's opinion and stay within yours?
I'm continuously learning that, actually. I think it's something that, as we look at healing and growing and learning overall, those are things that are not, once you get to the finish line, you're able to collect your medal and go home. Those are, you go to the finish line and you're like, wait, the race isn't really over. We moved the finish line to the next block over. So you have to keep going and you have to continue to learn, because nobody has ever mastered the art of detachment. Nobody has ever fully conquered all of the things that are internalized in their way of thinking, and nobody is ever at a place where they're superior in their way of living because they've done X, Y, and Z. They're all learning. They're just trying to make it appear as though they've learned more than you, which is not always the case. So I think if you're able to keep this open-minded perspective that you always have something to grow and learn from everyone you interact with, good and bad, you'll be able to have a revitalized opinion of the world and see it as less of a negative place. I believe a lot in optimistic nihilism because, of course, you can think of our time on Earth as temporary and negative if you look at it that way. But if you keep an open mind and understand, yes, it is temporary, but I'm going to decide to make the most out of it, then you're going to have a much more experienced and fulfilled life than someone who's going to just look at the nihilistic part of that optimistic nihilism, for sure.
I love it. I love it. How do you deal with negativity? I mean, now you went to Maclay. You graduated from Maclay,
I did.
right?
Yes. I went there from preschool to senior year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my goddaughter, you met Cameron.
Yes.
Yeah, she graduated from Maclay. How did, well, was it hard? When I mean, okay, so you're blind, dealing with this. How did the children treat you?
I think that every environment has something that you can learn from, and I'm grateful for the experiences that I've had in every educational institution.
Hold on. Y'all hear that political answer? Y'all heard from, okay, her parents are trainers, so she's like, that was good.
I appreciate that. I do mean it.
But I love how you were starting off. You understand what I'm saying? I just love that.
Thank you.
I love that. That was great. Okay, go ahead and finish.
I appreciate it.
Did that.
We really can learn from every environment we're in, and I'm grateful for all of the institutions that have housed my educational experience. And I think that professionally and academically, I've learned from my teachers and students the ways that people want to be received and perceived and don't want to be perceived through the way that they interact with you. So I think taking away that there's always growth to be had in your conversations and your approach to connecting with people will make it a much more fluid experience, because I've certainly encountered moments when I was in gym class and I had to sit out because of a surgery that I'd had where I was having to make sure that I didn't feel like the outcast from it all. And that was totally something that I was able to do because of my familial support and my friends who were willing to sit out on the side of the playground with me, and we were able to do activities together. So I've been shown lots of acts of kindness throughout my career and my social and academic well-being that have really just grown into my being and taught me how to appreciate the world in a better way.
You know what? I think if we all can find a perspective to respond the way that you just did. No, seriously, I think it would help our world a lot.
Absolutely.
I really do. I think it would help our world a whole lot, because a lot of time we spend so much time finding the negativity in everything, in a lot of things. But the way you just spoke and stated, we can learn from every encounter. We can learn from everything that we're in. Not necessarily speaking negative, but listen, we can learn from this. Regardless of how I'm treated, there's good in this.
Absolutely.
And another thing I want to say, that what she just said, there was friends who were willing to sit out, who chose to sit out with her. And I want to say to friends, sometimes you have to choose to sit out with your friend so they don't seem or feel like an outcast, or feel like an outcast, or feel like no one's there to support. So you're my friend, so I'm going to sit out with you.
Totally.
And then we make up another game.
Yeah. It's really all about what you make of it, because I'm grateful for the experiences that I had elementary and all the way through high school, where I had people who were willing to, even in the pandemic when we were all isolated and we weren't able to sit in a physical space together, we got online and we got on digital spaces and forums, and we were able to create games and conversations there. Because just because you might be faced with those odds that you are trying to win against, in that sense of the whole world shutting down, that doesn't mean that you have to shut down and isolate yourself to the point where you're practically insane. You can find the community in isolation, for sure.
Yeah. And so, as she just said, when the odds are there, make something out of it. Build something out of it. create. And that's where the creativity come in. You have to think. You just have to think a moment. So we're in Florida. We're very seldom, I believe, going to get a snowman. We're not going to get a snowman in Florida. Okay, I'll talk about Scotland. So we were in Scotland, and we didn't know what a certain dish was.
Okay.
Everyone at my table, we did not know what in the world it was. And so we were asking, and someone looked it up, and they said, it's sheep.
Ah.
It was haggis. Haggis.
Yes.
It was haggis. We didn't know haggis.
Right.
We was not familiar with haggis, right? And so we were like, haggis? What is that? So someone went on Google and Googled it, and it's all of the stuff for the sheep.
Right. Yes.
All of the stuff for the sheep. And so someone said, I think it was my husband, he said, it's sheep chitlins. You're like, sheep, what?
Right.
And it was. It's the guts, it's the everything of the sheep.
Did you eat it?
I tasted it because,
Yeah.
I just had to, because we're in Scotland.
Right.
I wanted to taste something different. I tasted it. And boy, let me tell you, around about 12 midnight, that sheep started dying. That sheep came on out, you hear me? But that was a new experience. Didn't really understand, wasn't familiar with a lot of the food, but too far not to taste it.
Totally. I had actually the same experience when I was back in Scotland in 2019, I believe, or 18. Yeah. And I'm a picky eater by nature. So for me, it was a very daunting task. And I was like, ooh, what can I do to like fake my way through this? But you can't fake your way through an experience like haggis. You really cannot.
You really cannot.
You have
You
to
really
take
cannot.
the leap of I'm going to trust this person whose perspective I'm going to appreciate later, whether or not this goes well. You have to be willing to eat the haggis and do the thing, and I think that's so important because now you have a story to tell and you have an experience that you've acquired and you can add to your toolkit, and those are both two wins. So I think that's fantastic.
And that's what you have to do, you all. Sometimes you have to take the leap and add it to your toolkit because now you experience it. So all of us, or my sister, I don't know, my sister tried it. She was like, oh no. She's like, oh no. But to try, and this is going to help you on your way to beating the odds. Sometimes you really have to do something different.
Definitely.
Something totally out of your comfort zone that you hadn't done before.
Inside the line thinking isn't going to get you outside of the line results.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, we don't teach the children to color in the line anymore.
We hardly give them coloring sheets.
That is true. My son kid, we gave him some, we like color. They were all over. And one of the kids said, you're all over the place. And they said, well, there's a lot of space
Right.
outside the line to color in. I thought that was award winning.
Absolutely.
I thought that was, and I think the person who said that was like 5.
Yeah.
She said, there's a lot of space outside the line to color in. I thought that was good.
We have so much to learn from the younger generations.
We
coming
really
into
do.
things. I think they have such a unique perspective that we really underappreciate.
Yeah, we really do. And so we want to say to you, color outside the line. Color, go outside the line. Experiment. Experiment. Get your vision. I really want to say this, y'all. Get your vision board. Put it up so you can see it.
Absolutely.
It will come true because you're going to work on it. But if you can just keep looking at it, and I'm sure when you went to the legislature at 9 years old, that had to be some type of experience.
It was absolutely eye-opening. And I think the funny thing about it is I didn't have a vision board at the age of 8 or 9 that said that I would go on to a 4-year-long career in advocacy and book writing and then pivot into art curation later on. That was not on the vision board. I think more of the vision board was more centered around a childhood-based experience, but I'm grateful that my vision was able to evolve and to morph into something because I was able to experience so many different things and connect with so many people.
And you know what? You just said something. I believe that the more we do, the more we evolve.
Absolutely.
That the more it keep unraveling. My goddaughter Cameron made me a quilt, and it is huge. And her mom was like, girl, you spend a lot of money on it. But she wanted me to be able to wrap myself in it, and it has so many personal touch to it that she added to it. But and when she gave it to me, the more I was unwinding it,
Yeah.
the more, it seemed like it wasn't gonna help me.
Right.
I'm like, is this going to let me in? And so talking to you, that's what I see.
Yeah.
As we experience and as we allow things to evolve, the more it's going to evolve.
And life really is just like a quilt because it's made with so much love and has such a story to it that you just want to keep on sharing it. And that's the way that I approach things. Is just I have a story to tell and I have so many stories that I've yet to hear. So that's the best part about quilt giving and exchanging, and it's fantastic to be able to be in this space with others that are willing to exchange a quilt with you.
Oh, I love that because y'all, we got to hear others. We get to hear other people talk and stories from others. And that's one of the things in our trip. We got to meet so many different people, and so we were sitting down talking. And my sister had 2 rooms because her first room was filled, and so we went to the second room. And I went over there, and the young lady said she flew in from Germany. She didn't know my sister, but she saw the story on Facebook.
That's
The
awesome.
end of the story. And so she decided to come.
Yeah.
But she brought her mom and her other sister from Germany. They just came. And I said, you didn't know her? And this is what she said. She said, I knew her through the story. I knew her through her story. And I wanted to come and participate in what she had created.
Absolutely.
On Facebook. And you all, if you do that, if you can do that against the odds, take the odds and build something. They're odd for a moment.
And then they're even the next.
They're even the next. Right? And so you look at it and it look odd. And then now it's even.
I think the odds being a case of inspiration is the best part because it's like, I think for me, taking my vision impairment and everybody is looking at it as the superpower. And it's like, you have to really feel that it's your superpower because there's a lot of other people that are saying that it's your greatest, your kryptonite, your weakness. So you have to find that balance between your superpower and what others want to say is your weakness and combine it into something that you're going to build upon and say, okay, despite both perspectives, I'm going to do my own thing, as Miles Morales says in the last Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. And you have to do it knowing that you have a right to do it. That you are capable of making it happen. That's what you have to do. You have to encourage yourself and you have to make it good. Surround yourself with a great group, your support system. Your support system have to believe in you. You know, they have to believe in you. They have to celebrate you. I saw something that said, make sure everyone on your boat is rowing in the same direction.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, as you, because if not, you're not going to make it.
Right. I saw a video the other day of these friends that were celebrating their friend getting into their graduate program that they'd been applying for, and it's so important to celebrate the small wins and the unconventional wins and the wins that we deem as kind of uncelebratable with a big crowd and with big experiences, because it's so important that we experience things like that in a small and grateful level. Like I was happy to celebrate my acceptances into college and celebrate with my friends who got accepted into the Questbridge program at Rice and all of wonderful other things. So it's great to build a community over the small experiences too. You don't have to be an award-winning novelist and advocate to be able to be worth of celebrating.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. One of the parents from our summer camp, she was so excited because she said that her son would have fit in was saying no, but she noticed that now no is okay.
Right.
Because one of the things that we were teaching this summer is that no, you're gonna have no in life. And we're teaching this to 4 to 12-year-olds. And perhaps that can help solve some of the gun violence when they get older. They won't resort to gun violence because someone told them no. But we got to teach them that no is a part of life. And so, and I hope all of our kids, they understand no. There's been no tantrum. At the beginning it was, but to hear it and to receive news that a parent said that was great. And so what are we going to do? Like you said, I'm going to get them some donuts because and I know people who helped us say, donuts, get them an apple. Them children don't want apple today. So we're going to get them some donuts because that was a milestone and it's worth celebrating. It's small, but it's big.
Absolutely. And it's super important to realize equally as such that no is a complete sentence when it's coming from any person who's saying it. And to respect that is so vital to building enthusiastic consent with young people and people of any age to understand that they can stand firm in their decisions to do or not do things, and to have empowerment and know as much as you can have empowerment and yes is super important into raising a generation of empathetic people and listeners.
Yeah. And so to do is worth celebrating.
Absolutely.
It is worth celebrating. Another one kid was touching another kid. We went bowling yesterday and he said, what is the first rule of summer camp? What is the first rule? And the little kid said, keep your hands to yourself. He said, well, you're not following the first rule.
Right. Learning by doing for sure.
And these are little kids. I think that kid was 10 talking to a 8-year-old.
Right. And
to hear that said a lot. Because now we're teaching them to really go out into the world. When they go back to elementary school, they're going to remember this.
Lessons for life, for sure.
Lesson for life, because and then they're going to realize, hey, I was celebrated for doing good. They haven't done a whole lot, but that was a great accomplishment.
Right.
When we was at Governor Charter, we had a big party for those who went from a grade of F to D, from a D to C, and from a C to a B.
Progress is progress. And
we had
rightfully be celebrated.
Right, and we had a big party. But we had all of the A students, the A and B students, to serve those students. We had parents who were crying.
Yeah.
Because no one really celebrate going from a D to a C or F to a D. But my thought is this. If you celebrate going from an F to a D, they're going to try to make it to the A.
Absolutely. Positive reinforcement is the name of the game.
Yes, and it helps. It helps because we want to see them accomplish some great things. There's some more Palomas and some more Judy and some more little Ricky and some more. We got a lot of generation who's coming up.
Absolutely.
And we want to see them accomplish a whole lot of things. Dot D had a program this summer that I was just like, wow. And we had so many different summer camps, so many people doing so many things. But to see these kids expressing themselves through art, expressing themselves through singing, through dancing. You want to dance? Yes.
The arts are a vital part to our building empathy and facilitating community for sure. For sure.
And just creative. Just creative. We told the children, you gotta write a book. What are you gonna write about? Whatever you think.
Yeah.
Whatever you think, just write it.
When I was writing my college essay, which was a feat in its own right, I wrote about my experience as an art curator for the Tallahassee Airports Gallery. And we had a Black artist, Harris Wilcher, who's a FAMU art professor, whose work was being featured in the exhibit. And it was taken down by some members of the airport staff because it was too controversial. And for me to be able to express through my college essay the importance of supporting artists of diverse backgrounds and allowing their work to have a space and so that we can facilitate community in spaces like this is super important. And we need to continue to celebrate perspectives that are being taken down for being too this or less of that. And we need to take things and just build upon our communities however they're coming to us. If it's having to do it in the circuitous route of having to see the art at a different location at a later date, then so be it. But you have to be able to go against the no's that you'll get in the process, and to be able to seek that yes at the end of the day, for sure.
And I love that. I've learned. I used to sell vacuum cleaners, and I did it just because I wanted to meet everybody, right? And I actually won an award as the best vacuum cleaner seller.
Fantastic.
I mean, I won because I would go and tell people this is the Lamborghini of the vacuum cleaner, and you this and that. But the point I was about to make was that I was really good at it and learning the diversity and how to make it happen and to see the growth and the development in it. But at the same time, there was another point I was about to make, and I can't remember what it was. Isn't that something? But anyway, forgot what I was about to say. Something that you said that triggered it. But anyway, so we're almost near the end.
Okay. Well, it's been fantastic
talking.
talking
I want you for a minute a minute or two to talk to the audience about taking the odds and keep winning.
Absolutely. I'm currently working on my Girl Scout Gold Award project, which is called The Fourth Wall, and its aim is to bridge the gap between people with disabilities and the arts community. So in town, we have the Railroad Square Art District, which has lots of public art and murals and places for you to experience the arts, but those places are a little bit more difficult to access if you're a person with a disability, especially a vision impairment. So the odds of being able to experience this in an accessible way have been kind of unapproached and uncharted for a while. But when I was willing to hold a conversation with members of the artistic community and we were willing to build a solution, we're now towards the path of getting alt text descriptions to describe the art and audio guides so that everyone can experience an accessible experience with the arts in their own community. So against the odds, we were able to build a network of connection and creativity that's empowered by making an accessible art experience. So it's working with things that have been undone and saying, well, I'm going to be the person to do it, and taking the things that have defined you or have been societally told that will be working against or for you, and then reworking your internal framework to decide what will work for you best is going to be yourself and your community and the way that you approach scenarios with your unique drive to fix an issue, fund a gap, or make your own dream a reality.
There you have it. That is from Paloma Ravina. Paloma, I want to say you're awesome.
Thank
you're
you.
Awesome. And I pray great success. I know it will be. As you journey to New York and just waiting to see what's next. Who knows what Paloma's gonna do?
Thank you.
But you have spoken so much life and inspiration into the audience today, and to me. This was very good. I want to thank you so very much. I am honored to have met you when you were a kid, and to watch you grow into a fantastic young lady with the ability to see beyond what is.
And thank you so much for supporting that dream and then facilitating the mentorship of someone pushing me to be my best. Through all of the 8 years of knowing you, I've been able to look to you as a pillar of my community, as someone who is inspiring this next generation to be their fullest versions of themselves to the best of their ability. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so very much. Wow, this was a great show. I enjoyed this. I really did.
I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
Me as well.
Thank you. And to you, the audience, thank you so very much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. So listen, you got to see it before you see it, or you never will see it. You never will beat the odds if you don't see it. That's real talk. Thank you for being with us.
Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk